The house was quiet, too quiet. Jordan Ellis stood in the middle of the living room, tears slipping down her cheeks. Her father's face was red with anger, his voice shaking as he spoke. "We trusted you, Jordan. $50,000. Gone. You were the only one with access when it disappeared." Jordan shook her head slowly. "I didn't take it, Dad. I swear. I don't know what happened to the money." Her mother stood beside her father, arms crossed, her face cold and unreadable. She didn't speak, just stared at her like she was a stranger. Stephen took a step closer, pointing a finger at her. "Don't lie to us. This is our family's business. Your mother and I worked too hard for this, and now you expect us to believe this just happened?" Jordan's voice cracked. "Why would I steal from you? From us?" Her father looked away, his jaw clenched. "Until that money comes back, don't step foot in this house again." Those words hit like a punch. Jordan froze. Her heart raced. She looked at her mother, hoping, begging for something, anything. A sign of doubt, a soft word, a hug. But Denise Ellis just turned away. From the hallway, Marcus watched in silence. His hands were tucked into his hoodie pocket. He said nothing. His eyes met Jordan's for a moment, then quickly dropped to the floor. Jordan couldn't speak. Her throat burned. Her chest felt heavy. She went to her room, her steps slow and shaky. She packed her bag, throwing in what she could. A few clothes, her laptop, her charger. The room that had been hers since she was a child now felt like a stranger's space. No one followed her. No one stopped her. At the front door, she turned around one last time. Her father didn't look at her. Her mother still stood still, arms folded. Jordan walked out into the night, the cold air hitting her skin like ice. She didn't know where she was going. She just knew she couldn't come back. Not like this. Jordan had always been the responsible one, the oldest child, the helper, the one who never caused trouble. When her mother got sick 2 years ago, Jordan gave up her plans for grad school and stayed home to help with the family's logistics business. She worked long hours, handled clients, managed the books, and kept things running while her mother recovered. She didn't complain. She just wanted to be useful. Her father, Stephen Ellis, didn't show emotions much. He believed in work, in silence, in pushing through problems. He never said, "Thank you," or "I'm proud of you," but Jordan kept hoping one day he would. Her mother, Denise, was softer on the outside, but always tense underneath. She liked things neat, in control, perfect. Illness had shaken her. She never fully recovered, not just in body but in mind too. Then there was Marcus, her younger brother, the favorite, the golden boy. He dropped out of college last year, but no one seemed to mind. "He just needs time," her parents said. "He's figuring things out." They let him do what he wanted, made excuses for him, while Jordan cleaned up messes behind the scenes. After her mother got better, Jordan finally left the company and tried to start over. She moved in with a co-worker and applied for graduate school again. She got a job at a coffee shop. The hours were hard and the pay was small, but she was proud to be standing on her own again. Then the call came. The money was missing. $50,000. Gone from the business account. She was the last one with full access before she left, so her parents looked at her, and only her. She tried to explain. She didn't know anything about it. She would help look into it, but they had already made up their minds. Her father told her not to come back until the money did. Her mother didn't say anything. Now, Jordan sleeps on a couch in her friend's small apartment. She works long shifts behind the counter, smiling at customers, while hiding the storm inside her. Her hands shake sometimes. She wakes up at night, feeling cold and unwanted. Still, she checks in. She drives by her parents' house sometimes just to see if the lights are on. She watches from a distance, wonders if they miss her, hopes they'll call and say they believe her. She writes texts to her mother, but never sends them. Just short lines like, "Are you okay?" or "I miss you." She reads them, then deletes them. Some nights, she rewrites them all over again. Jordan was walking home after a long shift at the coffee shop when she saw it. A bright red sports car parked outside a familiar apartment building. It looked brand new, shiny, loud, expensive. As she got closer, her heart dropped. Marcus, her younger brother, was standing next to the car, laughing with a friend. He had just bought it. Jordan stood quietly across the street watching. Her mind raced. How could he afford that? He didn't have a job. He had dropped out of school. Where did the money come from? That night, Jordan couldn't sleep. The image of the car kept flashing in her head. The anger, the confusion, the betrayal. It all swirled inside her. She needed answers. The next day, she made a quiet decision. She texted Renee, the the company's old accountant. Renee had always been kind to her. She was older, careful, and had worked with the family for years. They met up in a quiet cafe across town. Renee looked nervous as soon as Jordan brought up the missing money. She fidgeted with her tea, then finally spoke in a low voice. "I saw some strange things in the account a few months ago," Renee said. "Transfers that didn't make sense, but I didn't say anything." "Why not?" Jordan asked, trying to stay calm. "Because Marcus had access to my login," Renee whispered. "If I reported it, it would have led to him. And your parents were already upset. I was scared of making things worse." Jordan felt cold. Her hands tightened around her cup. So it was true. Marcus had access. He could have moved the money. And now he was driving around in a car that made no sense. All this time, she had been blamed, thrown out, left to suffer. And Marcus, he was living easy. Jordan left the cafe feeling like the ground had shifted beneath her feet. It wasn't just pain anymore. It was anger. Deep, sharp anger. She had spent months trying to survive, trying to stay quiet, hoping things would fix themselves. Not anymore. She was going to find the truth. She was going to prove what happened. No matter how long it took, she would clear her name. Because now she wasn't just a daughter cast out. She was a woman who had been wronged, and she was done staying silent. Jordan knew she needed more proof. What Renee told her wasn't enough. She needed something solid, something they couldn't ignore. She reached out to Mr. Kingsley, the old IT guy from the company. He had always liked Jordan and treated her with respect. When she asked if he still had system backups from when she worked there, he nodded slowly. "Let me see what I can find," he said. A few days later, he handed her a flash drive. "This is from the week before you left," he said. "Be careful, Jordan." Jordan stayed up all night going through the files. She didn't fully understand all the codes and data, but she knew what she was looking for. Login times, account activity, transfer log. And then she found it. Marcus's name, his access, timestamps that matched the exact days the money was moved. Her heart pounded. This was it. This was the proof. She sent copies of the files to the family accountant, anonymously. She didn't want to show her face yet, not until everything was out in the open. Later that week, she saw Marcus at a gas station. She walked up to him quietly and said, "I know what you did." Marcus didn't look surprised. He just laughed. "You always needed to be the hero," he said. "Maybe you did it and forgot. Stress can mess with your mind, you know." His words cut deep. He was trying to make her doubt herself, again, but this time, she didn't break. Over the next few weeks, Marcus started to fall apart. He got into a fight with his girlfriend outside a restaurant. He failed an important test. He looked over his shoulder constantly, like someone was watching him. He was losing control. At home, things weren't any better. The family business was struggling. Without Jordan's help, the numbers didn't add up. Clients were leaving. Bills were piling up. Stephen refused to call Jordan. His pride wouldn't let him admit they needed her. Denise stopped cooking, stopped getting dressed some days. She sat on the couch for hours, just staring. Jordan watched all of this from afar. Sometimes she stood across the street from the house at night, just looking at the lights in the window. She still loved them, no matter what they did. She couldn't turn her heart off, but love didn't mean silence. Not anymore. She felt torn, between guilt and truth, between wanting to hold her family together and needing to clear her name. Every time she opened her phone, she saw the unsent messages to her mother, long paragraphs she never had the courage to send. But now, things were moving. The truth was coming. And for the first time in months, Jordan felt something close to strength. It happened fast. Jordan was at work, wiping down tables near the end of her shift when her phone buzzed. A message from Renee. They arrested Marcus. The audit found everything. Jordan froze. Her hands shook. She stepped outside to breathe. She hadn't sent anything new. She had been holding back, unsure of the right moment. So who? She rushed home to check the files, her notes, her saved email. That's when she saw it. An old draft she had saved in her email. The subject line, "For the auditors." Attached were all the files, the access logs, the backup drive information. The draft hadn't been touched in weeks, but it had been opened recently. Her mother had access to the account when Jordan helped her set it up years ago. And somehow, Denise had found it. At the police station, Marcus didn't say a word as he was led away, but Stephen did. He fell into a chair, holding his head in his hands, broken. "I pushed her out," he whispered, "and I let him stay. I failed both of them." No one answered him. There wasn't much left to say. That evening, Jordan walked out of the coffee shop where she worked, tired and confused. She hadn't fully processed what happened. She thought she'd feel powerful, vindicated. Instead, she just felt empty. That's when she saw the familiar car parked across the street. Her mother, Denise, was sitting behind the wheel, clutching the steering wheel tightly, her eyes red. She had clearly been there a long time. When Jordan approached, Denise rolled down the window slowly. "I didn't know how to say it," she said, voice trembling. "I read your email, the one with the files." Jordan stood still. "I didn't want to believe it was Marcus," Denise continued, barely holding back tears. "I thought if we just gave it time, everything would make sense. But I was wrong." She paused, her voice breaking. "I'm sorry. I should have known it wasn't you. I just wanted to believe it wasn't him." For a long moment, neither of them said anything. The wind blew gently. Cars passed. Somewhere nearby, someone was laughing. Jordan's eyes filled with tears. Not because everything was okay, but because someone had finally seen her. It didn't fix everything. It didn't undo the pain, but it was something. And in that quiet moment, mother and daughter sat in the car together, not as strangers, but as people who had finally told the truth. Jordan didn't move back home. Too much had happened. But she started seeing her parents once a week, not at the house, but in a quiet therapist's office across town. At first, it was hard. The silence between them felt heavy, but slowly, week by week, they started talking again. Not just about what happened, but about how they all felt, about how they could do better. Jordan was clear about one thing. She still loved them, but things had to change. Her parents listened. Stephen, who used to think therapy was a waste of time, sat through every session. Sometimes he got quiet, sometimes he got angry, but he showed up. Denise started writing in a journal every day. She was trying to understand why she always stayed quiet when things got hard, why she looked the other way instead of asking questions. Back at the family business, things changed too. The board asked Jordan to return, not as an employee, but as a consultant. She agreed, but only on her own terms. She drew up a legal contract with a lawyer. It listed her responsibilities clearly and made sure she couldn't be blamed for anyone else's choices again. She also made one big condition. They had to hire an outside firm to review the company finances every quarter. No more hidden mistakes. No more trusting people just because they were family. Stephen didn't like it at first, but in the next board meeting, he stood up in front of the team and said something no one expected. "I made a mistake. I judged without proof. I let pride guide me instead of the truth, and my daughter paid the price for it. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest." Jordan quietly began applying to graduate school again. She didn't tell anyone. She wanted it to be hers this time, not something done to prove her worth to anyone. When the acceptance letter came, she smiled and folded it into her notebook. No big announcement, no celebration, just peace. One Saturday afternoon, sitting across from her parents at their usual cafe after therapy, she said it softly. "I got in." Denise smiled, eyes wet. Stephen just nodded, proud but quiet. Jordan looked out the window. The sky was clear. She didn't know exactly what the future would bring, but she knew this. She wasn't broken. She wasn't weak. She had told the truth. She had fought for herself. And now she was moving forward, not because anyone gave her permission, but because she chose to, on her terms. Jordan sat quietly by the lake. The sun was setting, painting the sky with soft orange and pink. In her hands was the letter she had read a dozen times, the one that said she got into her dream university. She still couldn't believe it. The water was calm. The breeze was gentle. For the first time in a long while, her heart felt light. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from her mother. "I know we can never undo what we did, but we love you. I hope one day you'll come home, not because you have to, but because you want to." Jordan read the message twice. Her chest ached, not in the same way it used to, but in a way that told her she was healing. She opened her notes app. Dozens of old messages sat there. Messages she once wrote to her mom but never sent. Messages filled with pain, anger, and sadness. Messages where she begged to be believed, to be seen, to be loved the way she deserved. She slowly scrolled through them, then pressed delete. One by one, they disappeared. Then she started a new one. Just a few words. "Thank you for the message. I'm not ready to come home yet, but I'm okay, and I still love you." She didn't hit send. Not yet. But this time, it felt different. She looked out at the lake again. A soft smile spread across her face. She was still healing, still learning, but she was choosing herself now, and that was enough. Hey besties, thanks so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course subscribe for more powerful stories. See you in the next one. Bye.